Rain hammers the windshield, angry, constant, like guilt I shouldn't feel. I'm parked outside Costco, engine off, heart pounding. On the dashboard lies an envelope, thin as paper, heavy as a confession. Inside it waits a loaded gun called Truth. 6 weeks ago, my wife screamed, "Get out!" because I asked for a DNA test. Now I'm back, with proof. She once said, "You don't trust me?" No, I trusted her more than myself. And that's how a man cuts his own heart open. Men fear death, fear losing everything. But the worst fear? Realizing you've been living another man's life. The seal tears. My world follows. Subscribe. Because what's inside this envelope will break everything you believe in. NFL noise washes through the living room, steady and forgiving. The house smells like hot dogs and cheap mustard. Mason circles the couch with a plastic dump truck, wheels thudding across the rug, hiccup laughing. Elena hums while the coffee brews, hair tied back, a small smile meant for no one and everyone. I lean over the bassinet. Isla sleeps the way newborns do, mouth open, fists knotted, breath sweet like warm bread. For a second, I let myself think, maybe this is it. Mortgage, groceries, a Sunday game. The ordinary life men work themselves sore to earn. Elena slides me a mug, brushes my wrist. Old choreography. Her phone buzzes. She flips it face down without looking. Habit, I tell myself. Or boundaries. The coffee bites. I decide that's good. Sharp keeps you honest. I look back at Isla. Sun finds her hair and the room tilts. It isn't auburn. It isn't strawberry. It's red, clean, electric, impossible to ignore. It blooms like a flare in a dark field. My mouth stays shut. My chest doesn't. Something small drops inside me and never hits bottom. I swallow and take another sip because that's what men do when the floor moves. They keep their hands steady. I file the color away like evidence. Later today I'll see it again, glowing out of a photo I wish I'd never opened. Elena is at the counter when I walk in, sun warming her shoulder. She sees me and her phone goes face down in one smooth motion, like muscle memory. "Toast?" she asks, too quick, the word landing sideways. "Sure," I say, because we're both pretending to be fine. The laptop sits open from the grocery list. A messenger window lingers off to the side, innocent as a glass of water left out. Blue dots, recent. I don't touch it. I don't need to. A name glows in the sidebar like a pilot light you forgot was on. Grayson. No last name, no title, just a first name that feels too familiar for a man I've never met. I click the photos like I'm killing time. Office party, ugly sweaters, fluorescent joy. Then December, 14 months ago. A tree bleeding light into a conference room. Elena in red, cheeks bright, eyes loose in a way I haven't seen since. A tall guy with bright hair stands too close. His hand isn't around her. It rests on her shoulder, fingers just inside the line of the collarbone, the kind of touch that says more because it says nothing. "Butter?" Elena calls. "Please," I answer. I zoom in until the pixels break apart. The hand is still there. The light is still warm. The date is still fixed. I close the laptop, but the red follows me like afterimage. Tonight, when the house goes quiet, I'll stare at the ceiling and go to war with a search bar. The house is quiet the way only a tired house gets. Fridge humming, heat kicking on, streetlight cutting a pale line under the blinds. I'm at the kitchen table with my laptop, coffee going cold, Isla's new patient bracelet still on the counter. I type red hair genetics, like a man typing a confession. Tabs bloom, charts, family trees, a gene I've never heard of, MC1R. Words stack up, recessive, variant, probability. I scroll past friendly infographics to the dry stuff, the kind that doesn't care how I feel. I run it against my life, my parents, black and brown hair, hers, brown and blonde. No red on either side, not even a rumor. From the hallway, a soft sound. Elena nursing, a chair creaking, a whisper I can't make out. I want that sound to be enough. I want biology to bend for me just this once. A calculator bar asks if either parent carries. I hover there, jaw tight. I search old photos, family reunions, school pictures, Christmas mornings. Nothing but dark and light, zero fire. Then the line appears, plain and hard as a stop sign. Both parents must carry. The words don't shout. They don't need to. They just sit there and turn the air cold. I close the lid and stare at the dark screen like it might blink. I tell myself I'll ask her tomorrow. Simple, calm, but my hands won't stop shaking. Morning looks normal because morning doesn't care. I pour cereal. Mason counts marshmallows. Elena's phone hums on the counter, face down. "Who are you texting so much lately?" I ask, casual as weather. She doesn't look up. Q4 stuff. Client's a mess. I nod. The bowl clinks. Her screen lights again, a tiny pulse against stone. I turn to the sink and catch it in the reflection. A heart reaction flashing on a message thread. Not mine, not family, not client. The kind of heart people send when they're not allowed to say what they mean. She reaches over, taps a quick reply, slides the phone under a napkin like it's shy. "It's just a coworker," she says, voice steady in a way that makes me tired. "We're friendly. It helps with deadlines." Friendly. I roll that word around until it loses shape. I know how men are. I know how women can be. I know how busy becomes private, and private becomes secret. I swallow something sharp and smile like an idiot who still wants to be married. I dry my hands and walk past her, close enough to smell her hair. "Okay," I say, "if you say so." In my head, the question won't leave. If it never touches, is it still cheating? The thought lands heavy and stays. Her phone vibrates again, face down, bright around the edges, and I'm suddenly sure I'm about to see a name I already know. I ask to borrow Elena's phone to snap a picture of Isla for my mom. No big deal. She passes it over, smile automatic, eyes somewhere else. I lean over the bassinet, frame the tiny mouth, the soft fists, the red that still burns in daylight. The camera opens. My thumb hovers. A banner slides down from the top. Clean, casual, cruel. Grayson. Can't wait to meet her properly soon. The word sticks. Properly. Like there's a wrong way to meet my daughter and a right way he's owed. Properly. As if he's waiting for an introduction I forgot to make. Properly. As if blood has rules I don't know. TV noise drifts from the living room. The color crowd of an afternoon game, all that easy American noise that once meant safety. My hand doesn't move. The photo never clicks. The message sits on the screen like a thumbprint I can't wipe off. Elena asks from the sink, "Everything okay?" I swallow. "Yeah," I say, voice steady and useless. I send the picture anyway, an old one from last night, then hand her phone back. She takes it with a thanks that doesn't look at me. I watch it disappear into her pocket, feel the battery buzz like a second heartbeat. All day the word follows me down hallways and through small talk. Properly. That night, I stop pretending I don't know what it means. The house is finally quiet. Mason's asleep. Isla fusses once, then sighs out. Elena wipes the counter, puts the dish towel down, waits for me to speak without wanting me to. "I want a DNA test," I say. She freezes. Color drains, then returns in a rush. Pink, then red. "You're joking." "No." Her hands curl. "After everything? After childbirth? After nights up feeding your daughter?" I don't flinch. "That's the question, isn't it?" "You're disgusting," she spits. "Do you hear yourself? You're accusing me of—" "I'm asking for the truth." "Truth?" She laughs once, sharp. "You've been snooping. You don't trust me." I saw a message. "From who?" "Grayson." I let the name sit. He can't wait to meet her, properly. Her eyes flash. Fear, then fury, then something like calculation. It's work. He's being friendly. Friendly doesn't schedule introductions to newborns. She shakes her head, harder now. "You crossed a line." "No," I say, voice low. "A line was crossed. I'm just tracing it." She points at the door like it insulted her. "Get out." "Elena, get out." The word hits me like a bat. For a second, I think she'll take it back. She doesn't. I walk to the hallway, pick up my keys, hold onto the wall because the floor won't stay still. Behind me, a door slams. In my chest, another one does too. I drive through rain thick as rope, wipers losing the fight. Ryan's porch light is a tired yellow. He opens the door in a grease-stained hoodie, says nothing, just steps aside. His place smells like motor oil and laundry soap. I drop onto the couch. Springs tired, blanket rough, the kind of comfort you don't brag about but you're grateful for. My phone glows in the dark. I scroll past sports scores and coupon emails until the search bar stares back at me. Paternity test kit. Brands I've never heard of. Promises in bold. Shipping times like IV drips. I pick one. Prime. Next day. Ryan sets a beer on the table, nods once, and goes to bed. The house settles. Pipes tick. Somewhere a semi moans down the interstate. I stare at the ceiling until the cracks start to look like road maps. In my head, Elena is still pointing at the door. In my chest, the echo won't quit. I type in my address with hands that won't stop shaking. Apartment, city, zip, card number from memory. American men, we don't shatter out loud. We break in silence and clean it up in the morning. Shipping, expedited. Delivery, tomorrow. I hover over the button like it's a trigger. Place order. The click sounds small. The decision does not. But the truth was already on its way, faster than sleep, slower than regret. The box lands on the doormat before noon, smug in its speed. Ryan kicks it inside with a, "That it?" and heads back to his tools. I take it to the kitchen like it might go off. Cardboard, plastic, a folded set of instructions written for people who can read without feeling anything. Step 1. Don't eat or drink for 30 minutes. Step 2. Rub the swab along your inner cheek. Step 3. Air dry. Seal. Mail. I wait out the clock, tasting toothpaste and nerves. The timer dings. I open the sterile packet and watch my hand do what my head doesn't want to. Swab against flesh. Small circles. 10 seconds that feel like a minute. I set it on the little paper cradle like it's newborn glass. It dries. I don't breathe. Forms. Name, date of birth, email. I print slowly. Block letters a cop could read. I drop the swab into the tube, twist until it clicks, slide it into the return envelope. Adhesive peels back with a sigh. My name sits on the label, ordinary and final. I think about Elena's question. Don't you trust me? I think about the word that won't leave. Properly. The voice in my head won't dress it up. I'm not testing her. I'm testing the life I've been living. The envelope seals. My jaw does too. Tomorrow the box will leave my hands, but the truth will still have my name on it. Thursday comes like a dare. I know Elena's schedule. Client presentation, out by 8. Mrs. Yoon Park watches the baby when daycare won't. I park 2 houses down and walk, keys in my fist like I'm just another neighbor. The door opens on the first ring. "Declan, you forgot something?" she asks, warm as ever. "Yeah," I say, holding up a work folder. "Laptop charger. Mind if I grab it?" She waves me in. The townhouse smells like laundry and baby lotion. My heart's loud enough to count. Isla's in the bassinet by the couch, asleep the way only new life sleeps, soft, unarmed. I pass the office, pick up a random cable so the lie has weight. Mrs. Park clinks a spoon in the kitchen. The sound is mercy. I slide a sterile swab from my pocket. Hands shaking, breath shallow. 10 seconds to change everything. I kneel. The room shrinks to a mouth the size of a thimble. I touch the swab to the inside of Isla's cheek. Gentle, careful, guilty. She stirs, makes a small sound like air catching. My hand freezes, then finishes the circle. 1, 2, 3. The swab lifts. My pulse doesn't. I seal it in the inner sleeve, slip it deep in my jacket, and thank Mrs. Park for the hospitality I don't deserve. On the front step, I finally exhale. Next stop, the post office. No turning back now. Every step feels like stealing from fate. and mailing it to myself. The house breathes in its sleep. Mason's soft snores, Isla's little sighs. I stand in the hallway holding my phone like it's guilty too. The messages with Grayson are gone, deleted like that fixes anything. It doesn't. Every word still hums in my head. He said I was brilliant once. Not beautiful, not sexy, brilliant. After months of diapers, spit up, and silence, that word hit like sunlight through blinds. It wasn't love, it was oxygen. Then the night at the office party. Too much wine, too much music, too much of wanting to feel seen. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself it didn't count. And when the test came back positive, I told myself the timing fit. I made it fit. Declan stopped touching me before the baby. I thought he stopped wanting me. I didn't see the weight he carried. I only saw my own reflection fading. Now he looks at Isla like she's a question he's afraid to ask out loud. I can feel the question in every silence. Tomorrow I'll make his favorite breakfast. Maybe it'll remind him. Maybe it won't. If he ever finds out. No, when he finds out. I just hope he remembers I loved him first, even when I stopped knowing how. The suburb post office is a room that forgot what day it is. Fluorescent lights, a tired flag, a line of people holding errands. I fit right in. Envelope pressed flat against my palm, return label neat, my name printed like a sentence. I stand behind a guy mailing auto parts and a woman with birthday balloons sagging against the ceiling. The smell is paper and dust. A clerk calls next without looking at faces. I don't need a counter. I just need the slot. When it's clear, I step forward and feed the envelope into the metal mouth. It slides in easy, like it wants to leave me. For a second, I expect a sound, clang, click, something meaningful. Nothing. Just quiet swallowing. Back in the truck, I check my email even though I know it's too soon. The confirmation lands anyway. Samples received. Estimated results, 2 to 6 weeks. 2 to 6 weeks. Like a doctor telling you to wait and see if the pain is fatal. I grip the wheel until my knuckles pale. Outside, Ohio is flat and gray, a sky the color of old coins. A delivery truck noses past. Life keeps moving like it doesn't know what I just did. I read the email again, as if it might change. It doesn't. 2 to 6 weeks. Some men count days by paychecks. I'm about to count by breaths. The waiting starts here. But somewhere in a sorting room, the truth is already moving toward me. Quiet, sealed, unstoppable. 2 to 6 weeks sits in my inbox like a brick. By 9:15, I'm in Slack stand-up, camera off, saying morning that doesn't sound like me. Our Jira board crawls by. Tickets, estimates, fake certainty. I open a bug I could fix in my sleep last month and stare until the code blurs. I type, still investigating, and hate every letter. My boss pings. You okay? Family stuff, I write. The dots bounce. He gives me a thumbs up I don't deserve. The coffee machine in the break area drips like a leaky faucet, slow, stubborn, indifferent. I pour a cup that tastes like pennies and try to brute force my brain back onto the rails. It won't go. Every tab turns into the same one. A lab portal I can't open yet. My phone buzzes. Elena. A photo of Mason, jelly on his face, the caption, he says hi. No mention of Isla, not a word. I stare at the screen until my thumb goes numb. I type, how are you? Then backspace. I type, can I call tonight? Then backspace again. I answer with a heart to my own kid's picture like a stranger who only sees him online. Lunch comes and goes. The bug stays broken. The coffee runs out. The brick in my inbox doesn't move. By midnight, I'm still awake, still pretending I can fix this. At 2 a.m., my steering wheel is in my hands again, pointed toward a place that never closes. The Waffle House sign hums like an old promise. Inside, it smells like butter and burnt edges and coffee that's been brave for hours. A waitress calls me Hun without asking my name and leaves a menu I won't use. I order eggs and watch them die on the plate. A couple in their 70s sits at the counter. He splits his toast down the seam. She stirs her coffee slow, ring catching the light like a tiny moon. They talk about nothing in the way people talk after surviving everything. He reaches for her coat before she asks. She smiles without thinking. It shouldn't hurt to watch, but it does. I take a sip of coffee and feel it go nowhere. The clock over the grill is 5 minutes wrong, and I love it for not trying to be right. The cook flips hash browns like he's known how since birth. Two cops laugh in a booth, the kind of laughter that forgets the time. I look at my hands. They look like my father's. Knuckles thick, veins up, built to fix things. What if this can't be fixed? What if the paper says 0% and I'm just a man who gave his name to a story that wasn't his? Who am I then? The question sits across from me in the empty booth. It doesn't blink. I pull out my phone and type what I'm really thinking. Mandatory paternity test at birth. The search bar takes me somewhere I've never said out loud. A thread called Mandatory Paternity Test at Birth. The first post reads like a sermon. Right to know isn't violence, it's protection. The next fires back. Women aren't crime scenes. Comment after comment, men spill years they'll never get back. One guy writes he paid child support for a kid who wasn't his because he signed the birth certificate in the delivery room. Pen shaking, love blind. A judge told him best interests of the child, and that phrase became a chain around his ankle. I scroll slower. Someone links cases, states, acronyms I don't know. Another man says he asked once and her family exiled him like he'd cursed at church. Then a quiet comment from a woman. If he had asked me, I would have said yes. Truth early hurts less than truth late. My thumb stops on an Ohio link. Presumptions, acknowledgments, deadlines to rescind. I read the same paragraph 3 times. The letters don't move. My pulse does. I think about the nurse handing me a clipboard. The line for father. The way a signature can feel like love and act like a verdict. I didn't sign. Not yet. The truth drops heavy. If I had signed, my life might already be locked. I close the tab. The anger doesn't. It just stands up straighter. In the afternoon, my phone lights with a picture. Mason at the park, cheeks flushed, hair stuck to his forehead, ketchup on his sleeve. He's holding a paper cup like it's treasure. Caption: he says hi. No mention of Isla. No, how are you? Just my boy, half a life away, smiling through glass. I type, can I see him tomorrow? The dots appear, then sit there like a held breath. Her reply slides in. Apologize first. Drop the DNA thing. I stare at the words until they blur. I type, I won't apologize for asking for the truth. Then backspace. I type, I'm not dropping it. Send. She answers fast this time. Then wait. I write, I'll wait for the results. The read tag pops up, gray and final, then disappears like it was ashamed to be seen. Silence stretches out like winter, the kind that doesn't storm, it just stays. I scroll back through old threads, pregnancy cravings, stroller links, names we tried on like shirts. I land on a video of Mason saying "da-da" for the first time and feel something warm turn cold. I send one more message, tell him I love him. No answer. Just the photo again, balloon colors behind him, his grin brave and busy. There are 100 ways to punish a man. The quiet one works best. Ryan hands me a cold beer and leans on the workbench. The garage smells like oil, hot metal, and the kind of honesty you can't fake. He studies my face the way brothers do, no permission needed. If it's positive, he asks. I look at the floor. I don't know. And if it's negative? I take a breath that scrapes coming in. Then it's over. He nods once. No sermon, no speech, just the math we both understand. We stand there with the tools and the silence and 2 lives we didn't plan on. He nudges a ratchet with his boot, metal clicking like a nervous habit. You're not crazy, he says finally. You're scared of living a lie. That's different. I don't answer. Not because he's wrong, but because he's right in a way that hurts. We look like our father when we don't talk. Jaw set, eyes hard, love hiding in our posture. Ryan cracks his beer. The cap jumps. Tsk! The sound cuts the night clean in 2. We drink without clinking bottles. Men like us don't toast. We endure. He pats my shoulder once, quick, and goes inside to sleep he won't get. My phone buzzes on the workbench, screen bright with a missed call. Mom. 1 new voicemail. I let it sit there a full minute before I press play. Her voice comes through thin and warm, like a blanket left in the dryer too long. Hey, honey, I didn't want to wake you. How are you? How's Elena? How's my little man? Did Mason start saying spaghetti right yet? And the baby? Why haven't I seen the baby? It's been weeks. She tries to joke, then doesn't. Call me, okay? I love you. I stare at the screen until it dims, then brightens, then asks if I want to delete. My thumb hovers. I hit delete. I hit. The message jumps into the trash. My chest drops with it. I fish it back out a second later like a sinner at an altar. Restore. The word looks kinder than it is. I want to call and say, Mom, I'm fine. I want to lie well enough to make it true. I picture her at the kitchen table with a crossword, pen tapping, worrying holes into the air. She believes in marriages you fix and families that come home for Sunday sauce. I don't know how to tell her some plates don't glue back. A single tear sneaks out before I can shame it into staying. It hits my knuckle and disappears. A small, private failure. I wipe my face with the heel of my hand, angry at water for being water. I text, need a little time, love you. 3 dots, then nothing. I set the phone face down and listen to the quiet grow. Tomorrow, I tell myself. Tomorrow I'll talk. Tonight, I don't have the words. Whispers follow me down the hallway, soft, practiced, harmless on the surface. I miss a deadline I could have hit blindfolded. Jira turns red. My boss forwards an HR check-in that reads like concern and feels like paperwork. I type, appreciate it, and stare at the send button long enough to hate myself. By 4, I shut the laptop and watch my reflection fade out of the black screen. I drive without thinking, past the gas station with the broken O, past the park where Mason learned to jump, past the church sign changing verses no one reads. The truck knows the route better than I do. I turn onto our street and everything inside me goes loud and quiet at the same time. Lawns trimmed, flags tired from too much wind, porch lights on timers pretending people are home. I pull up to my own curb and kill the engine. The house looks exactly like a picture of itself. Same wreath, same doormat, same window that sticks when it rains. I sit there with my hand on the keys. The distance from the steering wheel to the door is maybe 40 steps. I could ring the bell. I could say I just want to see my son. I could say anything. I don't move. I watch my breath fog the glass and fade. The porch stays empty. The door stays a door. I unlock my phone instead and open what I can still enter. Old photos. The wedding album loads in my hand like a warm lie. 2 kids in borrowed tux and lace, skin so sure of itself it shines. Elena's smile burns through the screen, bright, unguarded, aimed at a future we both swore we could carry. I swipe. Reception blur, first apartment, Mason in a hospital cap, fist the size of a plum. My face then, stunned, wrecked, grateful in a way that makes my throat tight now. I keep going. Halloween dinosaurs, first steps on laminate flooring, Sunday pancakes misshapen like states, the little ordinary paradise you don't know you're in until you're out. Then a folder I don't remember naming, work party, a string of ugly sweaters and paper crowns. December, 14 months back. The lighting is bad, the happiness isn't. Elena in red, cheeks alive, and there, background, soft focus, him. The same hair I've been trying not to name. His smile is easy. His eyes are not on the camera. They're on her. I pinch in until pixels break into squares. His hand, there it is, resting on her shoulder like a secret practicing being public. Her head tips half an inch toward him, enough for gravity to testify. My thumb hovers over the trash icon. I press it. The photo slips away. My chest collapses with it. I hit undo. It returns, stubborn as truth. I lock the screen and sit with the ghost light on my face, knowing sleep won't come. Tomorrow has to, though. Hunger leaves first. Coffee stops doing anything but paint my tongue. I chew 2 aspirin and pretend it's breakfast. The apartment feels like a motel someone forgot to check out of. Shoes by the door that aren't mine. Silence that sits like weight. I lace up anyway. Rain is already working the pavement, steady and gray. I run a route I used to take when life had rhythm, past the car wash with the broken neon, past the park where the swings complain, past the houses where Sunday smells like bacon. Breath turns into math. 1 step, another. Don't think. Don't look. don't stop. My shirt clings to my back like a hand I don't want there. Legs burn, lungs rasp, heart pounds a language it learned on bad nights. A dog barks behind a fence. A school bus sighs at a corner. I keep moving because stopping is when pictures start. Her phone face down, his name lit up, a newborn with impossible hair. I have to live through this, I say out loud, just to hear a voice tell me something true. A curb comes up wrong. The world tilts. Knees hit first, palms next, jaw last. Rain doesn't care. It keeps doing what rain does. I stay on the sidewalk long enough to let the hurt spread and settle. Then I get up slow, limping home to a shower that won't get warm. Back on the couch, towel around my neck, I open my phone like a man picking at a scab. Elena's page loads before I can decide not to. My perfect angel. The photo is tight. Isla asleep, lashes dark against pale skin, that hair lit like a match. Hearts stack under it, names I know from church and work, and a life that used to be mine. I scroll. Another post. Tiny socks. A caption about gratitude. Another. Middle of the night feed. The glow of a lamp. A tired smile. Grayson's name shows up under every single one. A neat red heart. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Like a metronome I didn't buy. In the comments, someone asks, "Where's your husband?" No answer. Someone else says, "She looks just like you." No argument. I wait for Elena to mention Mason's dad, the word we, anything that sounds like a family. Nothing. It's all I and my and filtered light. I back out and check my own messages. No new ones. Mason's last picture is still jelly-faced, brave. I save it to my home screen because some truths you need to see without clicking. The urge to write something ugly rises and passes. I close the app, then open it again, then close it for good this time. I say the line out loud to make it stick. Truth is bitter medicine, but it heals. I set the phone face down and let the quiet do its work. Out the window, the sky is one flat piece of gray. Somewhere in it, an email I'm not ready for is getting closer. I live inside my inbox. Refresh, refresh, refresh. The lab banner sits like a dead buoy. I call and a polite voice says, "Busy season, sir. 2 to 8 weeks sometimes." I laugh once, the wrong kind. Busy season for them. Open season on me. I try work. Code refuses to line up. I try TV. The sound feels like sand in my teeth. I walk the apartment and end up back at the desk like a dog to a door that never opens. Refresh. Night stretches thin. I make coffee to survive it and dump it out untouched. I read the same headline 3 times and can't tell you a word. Somewhere after midnight, I lie down without deciding to. Sleep comes like a thief and leaves the window open. In the dream, a baby cries from another room, the kind of cry that gets under the paint. I'm sprinting down a hallway that keeps adding doors. Every handle I grab is locked. The crying stops. That's worse. My phone lights the room. A pulse of white on the nightstand. I snatch it up. Thumb, Face ID, breath held. A delivery promo. Not the email. The screen goes dark again, and so do I. I roll onto my back and talk to the ceiling. Keep breathing. Keep waiting. The words don't help, but they give my mouth a job. Morning shows up uninvited. The check engine light will too. On the way to work, the dashboard coughs up a yellow engine icon. Perfect. I swing by Ryan's shop and he's already rolling out a jack, wiping his hands on a rag that's seen wars. "Hear a rattle?" he asks. "Just me," I say. He snorts and slides under the truck. Metal ticks. Tools clack like hard truths. I lean against the fender and count the ways a life can go wrong in the time it takes to blink. Ryan's boots stick out, oil dripping close to the heel. "Don't let everything fall apart, big brother," he says from under there. Half joke, half prayer. I'm trying. It comes out smaller than I want. He crawls out and points at a cracked hose, a sensor that's sulking. Not fatal, annoying. He tightens, replaces, wipes. The engine turns over steadier than my pulse. "She'll run," he says. "Watch the temps. Bring it back if the light returns." I nod like a man agreeing to rules he didn't write. He eyes me for a second longer. "Machine's fine," he adds. "Mostly." I pay, pocket the receipt, sit behind the wheel with the motor low and even. I listen to the hum, the promise of motion, the lie of it. The voice in my head asks the only question that matters. And the heart? I put it in drive anyway. The road answers the way roads do, by being there, whether you're ready or not. There's a small church on the corner I've passed 1,000 times without seeing. Today I pull in. The door sticks, then gives. The air is cool and clean, wooden and old. I take the back row because that's where men like me sit when we don't know what we're doing. No program, no verses. Just a row of empty pews and a handful of candles fighting the morning light. I try to find the right words and come up empty, so I borrow the only ones that make sense. Let me know the truth. Not fix this. Not make it easy. Just let me know. My hands fit together like they remember how. My chest loosens a notch. Somewhere up front, an organ warms its throat and lets out a soft note, the kind that doesn't demand anything. I breathe with it. In, out. The noise in my head surrenders a few inches. I picture Mason's face sticky with jelly, Isla's fist curled like a comma, Elena's eyes the last night we were us. The candle near me throws a small circle on the floor, steady as a pulse. I sit in it until the silence feels less like punishment and more like room. When I stand to leave, nothing is solved. But I walk out lighter by the weight of one sentence. I can survive the truth. Tomorrow will test that. Tuesday morning smells like dry markers and burnt coffee. Budget meeting. Numbers drone across the table, safe and abstract. I nod when people nod. My phone hums in my pocket, harmless as a bee that hasn't decided. I ignore it. It hums again. I slide it out under the table and glance down. Your DNA results are ready. Every muscle misfires at once. My chair scrapes. Restroom, I whisper to nobody that matters. The hallway feels too long. The exit bar thumps against my palm. Cold air meets a hot neck. I'm moving without noticing stairs. The parking lot is a grid of lives that make more sense than mine. I reach the truck, climb in, shut the door like I'm sealing a vault. The cab holds my breath and gives nothing back. I steady the phone on my thigh. The portal page is a blue gate. I type the password wrong, then right. The wheel of waiting spins like it enjoys it. My thumb hovers over the link. It's a small thing, skin on glass, but it feels like jumping off a bridge and hoping the river forgives you. My heartbeat climbs into my throat and stays there. I look up once, just the sky, pale and ordinary, like it refuses to witness. Back down. The link waits. My hand shakes. I press. Nothing happens for a second that takes a year. I try to swallow and can't. The page begins to load. The portal crawls. A blue bar moves like it's got all day. Then the page snaps into focus and the sentence is right there, clean and merciless. Probability of paternity, 0%. Everything in the cab goes quiet. No air vent, no traffic. Just a silence so loud it wipes the room. I stare at the steering wheel, and it looks far away, like I'm watching myself through a windshield I can't reach. I try to breathe and come up short, like someone stole a piece of my lungs. The numbers blur, sharpen, blur again. I scroll, as if more words might undo the first ones. Markers, alleles, charts that don't care who I am. A sound leaves my mouth and I don't recognize it. Not a cry, not a word, just pressure finally escaping. My hand finds the door handle, then drops. I press my forehead to the heel of my palm and count. 1, 2, 3, like a man riding out a storm. Not mine, I whisper. The truth fits in my mouth and cuts going down. Some part of me wants to call Elena. Another part wants to drive until the map runs out. Instead, I take a picture of the screen and email it to myself because proof is the only language left. I close the phone and sit in the wreckage. The world outside keeps moving. Inside, something stops for good. Downtown, the building smells like paper and lemon cleaner. Her office is small, calm, blinds slanting thin light across a desk that's seen worse than me. Marisol Rodriguez reads the report without flinching. She nods once, the way people do when a fact lands exactly where they expected. "You didn't sign the birth certificate," she says. "Good. That matters here." I nod. "Ohio?" "Ohio," she confirms. "We'll aim for primary custody of Mason or, at minimum, expanded joint. Document everything. Stay polite. No scenes. You present the truth. Plain. Steady. I slide the photo of the result toward her. She doesn't look away. You'll want to confront her, she adds, voice even. Do it, but not for a fight. For a record. Give her a copy. Keep a copy. Don't negotiate your dignity. The word dignity sits like a spine. She outlines timelines, filings, the parts that sound like homework and feel like survival. Petition, parenting plan, financials ready, screenshots printed, dates lined up. You don't need to win ugly, she says. You need to win right. The retainer form waits. My hand, finally steady, signs my name like I'm reattaching it to myself. Before I leave, she hands me a folder. Print 2 certified copies of the results, she says. One for you, one for her. I walk out into the street with a plan and a pulse. Next step, 2 envelopes, 1 conversation no man wants to have. I print the results on thick paper because thin paper feels like mercy. The divorce packet waits beside it, tabs and signatures, a map out of a place I didn't know I'd moved into. I slide both into separate manila envelopes, heavy like they plan to argue with gravity. I don't write her name. She knows who she is. Dusk drops early. A light mist needles the windshield all the way across town. I take streets I could drive blind, past Christmas lights still up because some people can't stand endings. The townhouse row looks the same as it did the day we signed the lease. Neutral siding, polite porches, a life that sells well in photos. Through the front window, a small face breaks the glass of me. Mason, forehead pressed to the pane, hand making circles on the fog. He spots the truck and his mouth opens in a silent shout. I raise my hand and hold it there. He mirrors me. That hurts more than anything should. Elena answers after the second knock, Isla tucked high against her shoulder, eyes tired and red-rimmed. We don't do small talk. I step inside and the house smells like laundry and baby lotion and history. At the coffee table, I lay both envelopes down side by side. This one first, I say, touching the left, DNA. The other waits like a second truth. Elena sits, Isla shifting a little, that newborn squeak that usually undoes me. Not tonight. I nod at the envelope. She opens it with careful fingers, the way you open a letter from a college you want to get into. Her eyes find the line and freeze there. Color leaves her face like a tide pulled by a hard moon. The paper shivers in her hand. Declan. No spin, I say. Say it plain. Her mouth works around air. It was one time. The words come out small and ugly, like a secret that's been living under the sink. The Christmas party. I drank too much. It was stupid. I thought... She stops, tries again. I thought it wouldn't matter. Grayson, I say. She nods without lifting her eyes. I never told him. I never... She swallows. I was going to tell you. I kept waiting for a moment that didn't exist. Isla fusses. Elena doesn't move to soothe her. I almost do and don't. The room feels tilted, like a ship turning. You threw me out for asking, I say, calm because rage would be too easy. You called truth an insult. She shakes her head, tears finally coming. I was scared. I am too. I tap the second envelope. This is the part where fear gets paperwork. She stares at it like it's alive. Don't do this. We can fix it. We can't fix what never was, I tell her. We can only end it clean. The baby cries. The heater kicks on. The envelope stays where I put it, heavy as a verdict. It was Grayson. Probably. The word probably lands like a bruise. I close my eyes for one count, then open them because this isn't a dream and I'm done blinking it away. You said asking for a test was an insult, I tell her, voice flat as a countertop. Truth doesn't insult people. It rescues them from living a lie. Elena flinches. Declan, please. I panicked. I was hurting. We were trying for another baby. I thought it would be yours, I swear. Her hands are empty and wild. We can fix this. Counseling. Church. A reset. Isla shrieks. Sharp, scared, new lung loud. Elena doesn't move. I don't either. The cry cuts straight through everything that used to be tender in me and finds nothing left to catch. You threw me out for asking the one question that mattered, I say. You turned truth into a sin and doubt into a crime. She shakes her head, tears slick and useless. Don't do this. I slide the second envelope across the table. This is the only honest thing left between us. Her eyes jump to it like it might bite. Declan, it's not punishment, I say, colder than I've ever sounded. It's clarity. Isla's cry breaks, hiccups, starts again. The heater kicks on. The paper waits. I stand, because sitting is a kind of begging. From the hallway, a small voice. Daddy? I look up, and everything I am goes to my knees. He barrels into me, small body, big heat. Daddy! Arms around my neck like he invented the word. I drop to his level, forehead to forehead, the way we used to do before bedtime stories and dinosaur roars. Hey buddy, I say, and my voice comes out softer than my day deserves. I have to go for a little while, but I'll see you soon, I promise. Tomorrow? His eyes are too honest to negotiate with. Soon, I repeat, and it feels like breaking a window and calling it air. I tuck a strand of hair behind his ear and memorize the weight of him, how boys are heavy and light at the same time. Behind us, Elena sinks into the couch as if someone let the air out of the room. She doesn't speak. The divorce envelope sits where I left it, a square sun no one wants to look at. Mason leans in, mouth at my ear, voice small enough to live there. I miss you, Dad. It slices me clean. Not loud, not messy, just final. I press a kiss into his hair. I miss you more. He pulls back, serious, like a man who needs terms. You come back? Count on it, I tell him. I'm not going anywhere that keeps me from you. I stand. My legs don't feel like mine. At the door, I turn once. He waves with his whole arm, the way kids do when they think it helps bring you closer. It does. After the goodbye, life turns into subject lines. Custody. Proposed parenting plan. Disclosure due. Marisol copies me on everything. Elena's lawyer answers fast, aggressive, full of adjectives. Ours replies short. Facts, dates, attachments. No adjectives. Mediation gets booked like a bad tour. Tuesday morning, Thursday afternoon, next Monday at 9. I take time off. I show up early. I keep a notebook. Who said what, when, with what proof. Screenshots, timestamps, receipts. I don't send late-night texts. I don't bite when bait hits the water. Marisol's rule, don't feed the fire, build the case. Elena pushes hard. Claims, revisions, a sudden concern about my hours, my apartment, my anger. Marisol asks for specifics. The air goes quiet. Facts are rude that way. I write a statement about Mason, bedtime, books he asks for twice, the green cup he insists isn't green. I list pediatrician visits I made, daycare drop-offs I covered, the mornings I fixed waffles when she slept. It reads like love wearing a suit, phone buzzes during mediation. Elena's attorney claims status quo. Marisol leans in, voice even. Status quo is a man cut out of his son's life without cause. Will fight for primary custody of Mason. The room stiffens. I exhale for the first time in days. I keep my eyes on the table and my mouth shut. Outside, wind takes the flag sideways. Inside, the storm finally has a direction. I sign the lease on a 2-bedroom that smells like fresh paint and second chances. The carpet's cheap, the view is a parking lot, and I've never been prouder of 4 walls. I build a dinosaur bed for Mason, screw by screw, knuckles nicked, instructions crumpled. He'll love it because it's his, and because I made it. That matters now. I bolt a booster seat in the back of the truck, tug until the belt fights me. I label drawers, socks, pajamas, favorite shirts. I stock the fridge with kid food, string cheese, apples, yogurt that pretends to be dessert. I learned 3 dinners a man can't mess up. Scrambled eggs, sheet pan chicken, spaghetti with too much Parmesan. I burn the first batch. The second tastes like trying. The third tastes like home. On the wall, a cheap calendar. I mark pickups in blue, drop-offs in black. No guessing, no begging. A rhythm that respects a little boy's heart. When Mason comes over, we wash his hands and pick a dinosaur book and let the night be boring on purpose. He falls asleep with his truck under the pillow. I sit on the floor and just breathe. In the quiet, A line rises clear and simple. I didn't lose everything. I kept the part that was real. It isn't victory, it's steadiness. It's a man choosing the work only he can do. Tomorrow we try pancakes. If they're ugly, we'll eat them anyway. Cancellations start small. A text an hour before pickup. Isla's sick. Can we skip? Next week. Work blew up. I'll make it up to Mason. She doesn't. I don't argue. I pack the dinosaur backpack and wait by the door anyway, because hope is a habit. When Mason comes back, he's quieter. He lines up his trucks on the coffee table like soldiers who forgot their orders. I ask if he had fun. He shrugs. I ask if he ate. Goldfish, he says, eyes on the wheels. I pull him in and he lets me, body limp first, then holding on. I feel the week leave him in waves. Too late bedtimes, too much TV, grown-up voices through thin walls. I don't badmouth his mother. Not once. Not ever. I say, Mom loves you, because that's true even when she's failing. He nods like it costs him. At bath time, he asks for the blue cup, not the green one that isn't green, and I get it right on the first try. Small victories count when the game feels rigged. On Sunday night, as I lace his shoes, he looks up with a face that doesn't know how to negotiate yet. Dad, he says, careful and brave, can I stay here more? The question lands soft and breaks something hard. I kiss his forehead. I'm working on it. In the calendar on the wall, blue squares start to outnumber black. It reaches me sideways, the way bad news prefers. A mutual friend, someone who still likes both of us, drops it over coffee, eyes flicking to the door like secrets have feet. He's controlling, she says. Asks where she is, who she's with, checks her phone. A lot. I don't smile. I don't gloat. I stir a cup I don't want and let the spoon spin out. Apparently he asks the question Elena threw at me like a weapon. Do you trust me? Apparently he doesn't. Apparently the red flags she swore were decorations turned into fences. I think about that message. Can't wait to meet her properly. And the way properly felt like a courtroom word. Maybe he wants what I wanted. Certainty. Maybe he wants more. She shows up late to a handoff, Isla tucked tight, sunglasses on in the shade. In the car, I catch sight of him in the passenger seat, jaw clenched, eyes counting. Elena won't meet mine. Everything okay? I ask. Fine, she says, the kind of fine that knows it's lying. As she buckles Isla, I hear him ask, low and sharp, who were you talking to? No one answers. The door shuts. The car leaves. In the quiet that follows, the line writes itself, clean and cruel. How a thing starts is a note on how it ends. I lift Mason's backpack and feel its lightness. Some debts pay themselves with time. Some just collect interest. Thursday, I finally go. The office is quiet in the way rooms get when people tell the truth there. A sofa that forgives bad posture. A box of tissues that minds its business. The therapist asks where I want to start. I say, somewhere that doesn't make me a joke. I talk without performing. No shouting, no courtroom speech. Just dates, messages, red hair and good light. I say DNA, and my mouth tastes like pennies. She nods, not because I'm right, but because I'm real. We practice naming things without decorating them. Anger, shame, jealousy, fear, grief. She reminds me jealousy guards love. Shame guards secrets. Anger guards boundaries. Grief guards the part that died. We breathe, 4 in, 6 out, until my shoulders drop on their own. She asks what I believe about men. The answer shows up already formed, like it's been waiting behind my teeth for years. Men don't cry, I say. We break in silence. Hearing it out loud is like opening a window in a room I didn't know was locked. She doesn't argue. She just asks, do you want your son to inherit that? I shake my head. No. I want Mason to keep what's strong and drop what's foolish. We schedule next Thursday. I walk out lighter, not cured, enough to stand upright, buy groceries, mark a calendar, cook dinner, make a bed. Tomorrow needs a dad more than it needs a martyr. The week finds its shape. I learn the morning traffic to Upper Arlington Daycare, which streets forgive you when you're late and which ones don't. Mason tells the same knock-knock joke until it becomes a family heirloom. After work, we wash hands, pick the blue cup, run bathwater that never hits too hot. He lines up dinos on the tub edge like witnesses. I read the same book twice because the second time counts. Weekends shrink to what fits. Fix the small rattle in the truck, grab paper towels at Target, let him choose cereal with a cartoon animal I don't respect. We build a fort and call it headquarters. He falls asleep on my chest during a movie we don't finish. I carry him to bed and don't check my phone. At the table, an Excel sheet keeps score the only way I can win. Rent, groceries, daycare, a line called wiggle room that is mostly a dare. I pack lunches the night before. I lay out shoes the right way round. After lights out, I stand in the doorway and listen for a minute, not because I'm worried, because quiet is proof. Sometime after midnight, sleep finally arrives like a friend who knows the spare key. No dreams, no alarms. A thought lands clean as a stamp. Peace. No more pretending. It's not loud. It doesn't need to be. Late light rolls along the Scioto Mile like a slow river. Mason's kite snaps and sighs, a red triangle trying to outrun the string. He runs in crooked bursts, laughing, looking back to make sure I'm watching. I am. I'm counting breaths the way my therapist taught me, 4 in, 6 out, like I'm learning to be a person again. A woman strolls by with a little boy who keeps losing his shoe. She kneels, ties it twice, stands with a sigh that's honest. "Wind's bossy today," she says, smiling. "Always is," I answer. We watch the kites argue with the sky. "I'm Amelia," she adds, not pushing it. I tell her my name. We talk about dumb things that aren't dumb, string burn, the right knot, how kids sleep like stones after wind. Her nephew face plants, pops up, declares it not bleeding. We laugh the way strangers do when they recognize the same weather inside. She asks how old Mason is. I ask about her nephew. No deep dives, no resumes. The son does most of the work. When they wave goodbye, I feel the old reflex, the reach for a number, the rush to fill space. I don't. I let it pass. Not because I'm scared, because I'm finally not. Mason reels the kite down, cheeks hot, hands proud. "We come back tomorrow, Dad?" "Yeah," I say. "Tomorrow sounds good." And I mean it. There are things I swallowed for years and called strength. I swallowed the fear of being judged because men aren't supposed to need proof. I swallowed the fear of being alone because a warm lie feels safer than a cold room. I swallowed the fear of starting over at 34 with a kid and a dented truck and a calendar full of court dates. But the heaviest thing I swallowed was this, the terror that I might be living a life that wasn't mine. We don't talk about that. We call it loyalty. We call it patience. We call it doing the right thing for the family. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just you bleeding slow to keep the picture pretty. If you're listening in the dark, checking your phone at 2 a.m., refreshing an inbox, bargaining with a ceiling fan, hear me. You are not crazy for wanting evidence. You are not cruel for asking a question that threatens the story. You're a man trying to stand on ground that doesn't move. I was afraid of court, afraid of the word divorce, afraid of breaking my kid in half. I did it anyway because the alternative was breaking myself in quarters no one could find. So here's the line I came to at the end of all the noise. Truth doesn't insult. It rescues. If that sentence finds you, keep it. It carried me to tomorrow. Here's the circle, closed. From a rain-streaked windshield outside Costco to 2 envelopes on a coffee table. From a number on a screen, 0%, to a signature that put my name back on my own life. From being thrown out for asking a question to walking back in with an answer no one could spin. I went from breaking in silence to speaking out loud. First to a lawyer with steady eyes, then to a therapist who taught me to put names on storms. I went from sleeping on a couch that smelled like motor oil to a 2-bedroom that smells like pancakes and dinosaur shampoo. From counting days by panic to counting them in blue and black squares on a calendar that respects a little boy's heart. I lost the picture I thought I had. I kept the son I actually do. I lost the comfort of pretending. I kept my dignity. I met the kind of quiet where you can hear your own pulse and not be afraid of it. If you need a line to carry, take mine. Truth doesn't insult. It rescues. It rescued me from living someone else's story. So I'll say it plain, the way it happened, the way it had to. I paid a heavy price not to live a lie, and I will never regret it. Because peace isn't cheap. It's earned, one truth at a time. And if you were me, sitting in that truck, envelope on the dash, rain on the glass, would you open it? Some men say they'd rather not know. Others say truth, no matter the cost. So tell me, which one are you? Tomorrow is ordinary on purpose. That's the point.